Ladies and gentlemen, the Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for almost 4 months, and while it did seem initially initially it seemed like we got a lot of games and then no games, we're starting to get more and more frequently, and in this past week a bunch of amazing Switch 2 games have came out, so let's talk about the ones you need to play. Let's go and get right into it. Yeah, like I was saying, it seemed like we got the launch of the Switch 2, like 30 games or something came out. Then it felt like no games came out. But it's starting to speed up, or at least you feel like games are coming out more frequently. This past week, a bunch of major games that came out, and I'm going to tell you all the ones you should be playing. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. We're like 150 subscribers away, I think, from 22,000. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep our communities growing. And let's go and get right into it. So the first game I want to talk about is Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC. Yeah, this is an amazing game, okay? But a couple things before we get into it. Number one, it's a game key card. It is what it is. I don't really care that much. But number two, I don't know if it's going to pick it up. The spine is like the same as a Switch spine. Kind of boring. You know, I just had it up there on the shelf with my other Switch 2 games, and I got it lost because the spine is just so boring. But they make up for it in a very cool way because they also have instant noodles that are Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC themed. That's got to count for something. If you like Pac-Man or you like platformers, this is a no-brainer. So I don't know when these games originally came out. I want to say like the PS2 era, and I think there was 3 of them total. I've only played the first one, and I've only played it on my Switch. I don't know actually when that game came out, but it's a little rough around the edges, but still really fun. So, you know, that's what I was assuming we would get for Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC, right? Just kind of the same thing, just maybe a little bit more polished. This could not be further from that. This is a modernized and enhanced and upgraded version of Pac-Man World 2. This is truly one of the best platformers I've played recently. And I'm not even just saying that because there's been like a lack of platformers. I mean, we've got a couple here and there, but this one really is fun, and it has voice acting. It's really funny. A lot of customizations, and I think later on this year there's like Sonic levels coming. What are we doing here? Definitely check this one out if you get a chance. So we also have EA Sports FC 26. So I know right away a lot of you guys probably won't care about this. I don't care that much. I'm just being honest. I just want to mention the games that are coming out that are a pretty big deal, that are on the Switch 2 or have Switch 2 versions. And obviously this has a Switch 2 version. I actually will be picking this game up, but not anytime soon. I always buy these for like 10 or 15 bucks when they go on sale, and I do enjoy them. I really like playing them around like the World Cup and stuff like that. But here's what's really interesting about this game. So we know when you have a Switch game, sometimes you can buy that game and then pay for it to get a Switch 2 upgrade or Switch 2 version. Then we have Switch 2 versions of games. This game, if you buy the Switch 2 version digitally, you also get the Switch version 100% free. So it's like the first backwards, like downgrade path or something. I don't really know like why you would use that. Maybe you want to send a game to somebody and then they can just use the Switch version or something like that. I do find that interesting. But yeah, this came out, and a lot of people are saying the quality is actually really good. So one of the biggest games released recently, and arguably one of the biggest games of the year, and there's a good chance one of the biggest games of all time. That is Hades 2. Now this game has been in early access for, I want to say about a year, and I know a lot of people are playing it over there, but it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, I know you want to play it early, but I think when stuff is in early access and you're a big fan of it, I think it's worth actually skipping. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but skip the early access and play the game as it's meant to be played and get that first real like feel of it, that first real reveal. Like I said, I know that's probably unpopular, but I have skipped the early access. I am going to be picking this up, but not until the physical comes out. I think that's in November, and I think it's going to be the same price, right? 30 bucks, but it also comes with a reversible cover and a downloadable soundtrack and something else that I'm forgetting. Seeing the quality of this and then having Expedition 33, which I actually just ordered a copy of that as well, and Hollow Knight, and I think something called Blue Fire, there's a good chance that Game of the Year is going to be won by an indie game. And that is definitely saying something. Speaking of indie games, we have the Touryst DELUXE version. This came out yesterday, or maybe the day before, I'm actually not sure, but it came out this week. Now, this is a really cool game that was on the Switch. I don't know if it was exclusive to the Switch. I almost feel like it was. Very, very interesting. And I think it was one of the few games that were 60 frames per second on the Switch. And I played it on my Switch OLED years ago. I actually forgot pretty much everything about the game, but it looked beautiful. You're just arriving at these monument islands. Want to go swimming? Or rather take a dive deep into the sea? Or do you want to visit an amusement arcade or do some shopping? There are so many things to do and explore here. And what's really cool about this, if you already own the Switch version, you can get the deluxe version, which is basically like an entirely new game with a bunch of new features, for only $5. If you don't already own that though, don't worry. This game is fully priced at 20 bucks, and I believe this is the same developers as Fast Fusion. So you know the quality of the work that they do, right? It's great quality. So every game we're talking about in this video has an official Switch 2 version or is a straight up Switch 2 game, except Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. I do want to mention this game. This came out recently as well, and this does have a Switch 2 version coming out, I think maybe in October sometime, so not that much further. Or maybe November, I'm actually not sure, but it's coming out this year. It really doesn't matter though. I played the Switch version of this game, and I fell in love with it. I hate comparing it to Mario Kart World because it's almost apples to oranges, right? But what else am I going to compare it to, man? It just feels like it has soul and style and flavor and like just that thing that I feel like Mario Kart World is missing. I feel like Mario Kart World is a good game because it's a Mario Kart game. And it's like, whoa, what are you going to do? It's Mario Kart. What can you criticize? Actually, quite a bit. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds kind of fills in all those gaps, and it is so damn fun, and it has a huge mix of IPs and really cool courses and this cool thing where you're racing on one track and then you'll glitch into another track. Just really cool power-ups and great music and actual events going on all the time. It really is super fun, and I think this game is going to sell incredibly well, especially being cross-platform. You know what I mean? That's like the one thing that it'll always have over Mario Kart World. I'm not saying you can't enjoy Mario Kart World, but I am saying you probably will enjoy Sonic Racing CrossWorlds a lot because I really did. We also have Trails in the Sky First Chapter. So this was a pretty big deal to fans of the series. I didn't know much about this game, but like the hype leading up to it, I was like, what the hell is that? And now I actually know quite a bit about it, and I'm very excited about this. And what's cool about this is, yes, there is a Switch version, but if you get the Switch version and then want to upgrade to the Switch 2 version, while it is not free, it is the next best thing. It is only $1 for that upgrade. This is a remake of the very first Trails game, and I believe there's like 3 parts of this exact like storyline right here, and then I think there's a bunch of other Trails games as well. Like I said, I'm pretty new to this franchise, but if you like RPGs or JRPGs, it's something you definitely need to check out. What's cool is you can enjoy seamless transitions between 2 battle modes, field action, and turn-based combat. So it has a mixture of both of those at the same time, and you know, that's just pretty cool. They also did a bunch of quality of life work here. I think new voice acting, really like kind of carved everything out and filled it in better. Like I'm not really good at talking sometimes. I know I should have different adjectives and stuff, but I don't. But I am trying to tell you, if you like RPGs or JRPGs, this is one you definitely need to check out. And a game I think is going to go under the radar, but you should definitely check out, is called ShapeHero Factory. And if I'm not mistaken, this might be just a Switch 2 game. I don't think there's a Switch version, or if there is, I couldn't find it. Run an ever-evolving paint-fueled factory and create magical, shape-based warriors. Send them into battle, then build an ever-better factory on your next turn. Welcome to the world's weirdest factory. You don't swing swords and cast spells. Instead, you build tiny heroes out of shapes and hope for the best as they come up against endless swarms of increasingly brutal enemies. So it's like a tower defense game, but also, I mean, it is a tower defense game, but I feel like it's more than that because you have this whole thing where you're building your characters or designing your characters, and different characters play different ways. And if you just want a soldier, all you have to do is try a circle or a triangle. You want a tank, try a circle and a square. So you're like putting these shapes together and getting different outcomes. And since this is a Switch 2 version, I could be wrong, but I believe I read it correctly, this game supports mouse controls. Yeah, you remember mouse controls? A big thing the Switch 2 was being sold with, like a big gimmick, like, hey, we have mouse controls. I don't think I've used it a single time in a single game. I don't know if anybody else is, but I feel like they're kind of not. So any game that can make you use it or encourage you to use it, I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, I just think this is going to be a sleeper hit, man. Unfortunately, probably will end up a hidden gem. But if you get a chance to check it out, or it sounds interesting, I would definitely check this one out. Yeah, who says the Switch 2 has no games? Well, me. I've said that a bunch of times. But all of these games have released in the last week. Not bad, you know what I mean? I think we're getting into that motion. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. If you made it all the way to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our amazing communities growing. And you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.